Hello and welcome to another episode of the Placeholder NPCs podcast. This episode will be continuing our Deep Space homebrew campaign of Dark Cosmos and follow the story of three spacefaring scoundrels as they rise up to rebel against the controlling factions. My name is Xeno and I'll be taking the role of Game Master for this season, and here with me at the table are my Placeholder NPCs, or should I say Placeholder NPC, Lex.
Hey, that's me! Good morning, everyone. I'm Lex, and I play Voel Burung, our trusty pilot. He's an Avali, a bird dinosaur person, and I go by the call sign Demon. Coming from a military family from within the Concordant, which is essentially the main ruling organization of the universe, I grew disillusioned with their manipulation of entire worlds to keep them in line, and so I have joined the resistance to fight back.
And today we don't have Sam and Deshaun around the table, but Lexi, how are you feeling for this episode?
Nah, we don't need them anyway.
Nah.
I'm good. I'm keen. I'm excited. I want to know more. I want to explore more of my character.
Me too. I've been itching for this episode for weeks now. Do you remember where we got up to last time?
I know that I got kidnapped, and I'm not happy about it. Bird-napped? Yeah, I got cuckooed out of the game.
Oh, jeez.
You kicked me out of my nest, and now there's another bird taking my place.
Well, I think you didn't even get back to your nest. We were on the CCF Osprey, going in for a job to find the location of the Centennial Hawk. You got put into jail, or the brig.
On purpose.
Attempted to break out of the brig, paralyzed the Caxel koala folk, but then broke out of the brig.
Did I break out? I think the doors just opened.
I think you kicked them down in the end. We have to go back and check, but you tried hacking it.
Yeah, and I failed. I remember the roll. It was a 1, a 1, and a 2.
It was the highlight of my night.
Oh, God, it made me so sad.
After you got out, you were able to hijack a pallet lifter to get the Caxels back to the Coyfish, and then that's where you were stopped by Mav and dragged off in a direction.
And the others didn't try and help me.
No, they just left you.
They just watched me go. I'm kind of glad they're not here.
Well, let's see how it plays out from Vol's point of view tonight as we dive into this episode of Dark Cosmos.
Pew pew!
We return to the frigate-sized ship, the CCF Osprey. Vol, you have successfully seen the Caxels get up into the Coyfish, and your cousin Mav, a former squadron leader of yours, has dragged you back off down one of the corridors of the frigate. There's a lot of panic going around. There's people leaving the landing bay area. There's like lots of people running everywhere. It looks like they're trying to go for escape pods. Mav is directing you kind of against the grain in a different direction to where everyone else is running to.
I am struggling. Am I having any effect on this or no?
Not really. So at this point, you're kind of maxed out on stress. So you are putting up a bit of a struggle, but I think Mav is kind of keeping you in pace.
Well, shit.
You're walking down this corridor and every so often Mav stops, taps into a number pad, nothing happens, and then you guys continue again. Mav is saying to you while this is all happening is like, when I saw the names come up on who the prisoners list was coming in, I did not believe you would be so stupid enough to show your face back up on here. She stops again, does another dial pad. Nothing happens to the door that it's connected to.
I'm always happy to exceed expectations, Mav. Can you let me go? For old time's sake?
No, I think it's better if you come with me. You know, I used to be proud that we were family.
Me too.
No. You know, now that I see it, unlike those of us who have to work to what we have to get, Vol literally gets it handed to him. And all you have to do is make the call and it's yours. I guess it's the benefits of being the Admiral's son, I suppose, right? Daddy gets you all the good things. The rest of us have to work. And another control pad, door doesn't open.
Well, clearly you're not working well. You don't know the codes to your own doors.
See, smart ass as always, Vol. Clearly these aren't open because these pods have taken. And she gets to one, puts the code in, and the door opens. A plume of smoke pours into the surrounding. Not like a huge, like, the place is burning down. Small amount of smoke, and it dissipates pretty quickly.
Oh, sorry.
It does smell of cinnamon and cloves. You see Mabs kind of like fanning the smoke with her other talon, pushes you into this little compartment, pushes you down onto one of the seats that's lining the walls of this escape pod, and you see two other soldiers here, high off their minds. Their eyes are completely bloodshot, and you see Mav pick them up and go, oh, Simon, really? She drags them out of the escape pod and into the corridor. And you notice these are the two guards that brought you into the brig before.
Bye, guys.
Mav picks up what looks like a custom-rolled, half-smoked celebratory cigar, and she starts lecturing into these guys. It's like, get your shit together. This place is going to hell for some reason, and you're in here freaking smoking it up, hotboxing in an escape pod, and she's just going off at these two guards.
Okay, look, Mav, might be my fault. Might not be entirely their fault. Long story. Just let's not kill them. Let's put them back in here. Come on, come with us, little fellas.
She leans her head in the door and goes, no, you zip it.
But
Zip it. You save it for the tribunal. And then she steps back out. She's trying to start to like stand these guys up and dress them and it's like, get your shit together. You know this is an escape pod. There's not a lot of controls around in the pod. The main thing is like this massive lever for when you're ready to eject. You're hearing a deep thrum, like a vibration happening through everything that's metal. And you think something's going off at this point.
look, Mav, I know we have our differences. It sounds like something bad is happening. Should we go? I don't want to be here, but I'd rather be, in here with you than on there without you.
Now you want to be together. None of this hotshot pilot stuff. No, you sit down, you shut up, and I'm getting this sorted out. What do you want to do in this situation? Do you want to try and convince her to get into the pod with you? Or do you leave without?
Mav, I've been in enough exploding ships to know that's probably what's about to happen here. Again, might be slightly my fault. But not entirely my fault, but slightly my fault. Get in here, bring the two cokeheads in too, bring them in. And let's get out before we go boom. We have our differences, but we're still family. And I don't want to see you blow up when I could have made it not happen.
All right, let's get this a dice roll here. I think this is an action roll.
That would have been a sway then, right?
How forcefully are you suggesting this? Because I could also argue it's a command roll.
Yeah, no, I'm panicked enough. It isn't, come on, let's go. It's get in. Time to go. I don't want to go splat.
I like it. Yeah, let's do a command roll then.
So is that the 2 die?
Looking at your character sheet, I think you've only got one.
It's 1 die. Okay, yeah. Sorry, it's been a bit and I forgot how to do this.
So you've got 1 die. Now you're at maximum stress, so you cannot push yourself on this one. There's no one around to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got no gambits left. Only thing I might be able to do is offer you a devil's bargain. I'm going to offer you can only get Mav in. The other 2 guards just miss out, and that'll give you a second die.
I'm thinking very intently on this. This is a very difficult position you've put me in, Mr. Game Master.
And it's only the first dice roll of the session.
We're literally 3 minutes into this. Great. All right. Yes. No, I need the extra die. This is too important to fail. Sorry, boys.
Oh, good. So something's going to happen. I think they are not reactive fast enough. So they're high off their heads, right? If you pull this off, they're not going to make it into the escape pod.
All right. So 2 die?
This is risky limited effect. 2 die. Give me a roll.
All right. So we're going to get 2 6s. You listening to me, dice? Mwah, mwah. Go. I hate this game. 2 1s.
Oh.
First roll of the game and I get 2 1s.
I think what's happening at this point, as you're saying this speech to Mav, you're getting up and you're reaching out. I think accidentally grab onto the lever and yank it as you're trying to stand up to communicate to Mav.
She already hates me. Mav! This isn't what I wanted to do, Mav. She's been betrayed twice. But at least one of them was an accident.
As that happens, the doors slam shut, and through the little porthole window on it, you see Mav turn, run up, and start banging a talon on this little window. in that same second, you are jettisoned into your seat and the pod detaches, blasts away from the frigate. And you can just watch this little window of Mav get smaller and smaller. You know these are an escape pod, so there's not a lot to do in this point in time. There are no controls for you to take control of. And you immediately feel the cryostasis portion of the pod start to kick in as the temperature inside starts to plummet. You can see other escape pods jettisoning. You see a couple larger ships. One of them is probably the Coyfish, you're not sure. And then there's a big explosion that kind of rocks your pod a little bit and jettisons it further into space. As your pod kind of goes to correct itself in its alignment, you go from seeing this big flashy pyrotechnics Coyfish dancing back and forth, beautiful starry sky, that kind of milky void twinkling with many distant stars. Your body gets colder. Around that porthole that you're looking at, you see the frost start to build up around the edges as the cryostasis kicks into high gear. I think each time you blink, it gets a little bit longer. You close your eyes, and as your mind drifts off into a sub-zero frozen slumber, don't know if it's the lingering effects of those cigars in the air. Your thoughts travel back to a time in the past where you were part of the Concordant. Everything goes that little bit sepia tone. That way you know it's like the past at this point. And your mind goes back to a time when you were on the planet Arrakis, the Caxel's homeworld. You open your eyes and you still see many stars in the sky. The year is 19,358, and this is going to be the start of another job. I'm going to get you to clear your character sheet, get rid of all your stress, clear your items and load, and clear all your harm.
Okay.
All cleared?
Oui. Let's go.
Alrighty, let's do an engagement roll. I'm going to give you an extra one, so you're going to have 2 dice for this engagement roll.
So I might actually roll more than 1.
This will tell me what kind of situation you're going to be starting in for this memory of a job.
Engagement roll. 6 and a 1.
Oh, 6 is amazing. I love that.
I needed the 2 dice because I rolled a 1 too.
So that's 3 ones so far. We're keeping track of how many ones you roll.
3 1s out of 4 dice. Mine are broken.
Keep those dice. I love them.
I've thrown them away. I have 3 dice left.
And items and load. So you're on a military peacekeeping mission for the Concordant. Do you think you'd have a light load, a normal load, or a heavy load?
It would depend on my role. Am I predominantly almost like a paratrooper role? Am I just like man the ship?
No, I think you're on the ground performing this mission, so kind of like a paratrooper-ish role.
Then probably a normal load.
All right, so we have a 6 and a normal load. As you lie there in the cold of night, looking up at this beautiful array of stars on the Raxus planet, you can see like the rings just kind of cutting through the heavens. This is a ringed planet, and you can feel the weight of everything on you. Or that might be just the extra gravity, because this is such a really large planet. And that's going to have some mechanical effects to this session as well. Mm-hmm. Because Raxus is a large planet, any physical-based action rolls you're going to make is either going to have less effect or -1 dice to the roll.
Yep.
Depending on like how extreme it's going to be. So if you're going to be jumping from rooftop to rooftop, that's going to be a -1 dice. If you're going to do something like a push-up or something simple, I'll just give you less effect.
Yeah, like I can do less push-ups.
Correct. As you're lying there contemplating whatever it is Voel would be thinking about in this time, you see the face of one of your squad mates lean over you. This is the face of Tau, a crustacean-looking species, so it kind of looks like a giant lobster, grabs you, picks you up to your feet, and pushes you towards the cover of barrels and a fence line as you are out in the open of a paddock with blaster fire shooting past you from the Caxel renegades just down the streets. You're pushed up against the fence and Mav turns to you and says, "Come on, Voel, we need to get in the game here. These renegades are not taking this lightly. You're just lying there. Get into it. Come on."
I nearly got shot in the face, but alright, let's go. I equip my blaster.
Yes, and you were just lying there. No wonder you were getting shot at.
Oh, Butters saved me. Thanks, Butters, by the way. And I gesture to the lobster dude.
Fucking Butters. Look, they've got us pinned here. There's not too many of them. I think we can get through this one.
Yeah, and I pull out my 2 blaster pistols.
To the right of where you guys are, there's another 3 members of your squad. These 3, although they're part of your squad for this mission, they are Viper Squadron. They are here joining you on this mission. Mav looks over to them, looks back to you and goes, come on, Voel, we got this. If we can show them where with the right material, we're in it for sure. So get your head in the game. I believe in you.
Damn right we do, Mav.
Let's do this. What do you want to do? So you're like kind of like a half stone wall. Think like you're on like a farmland, pitched up behind a half height stone wall. Behind that is like the barnyard and farmhouse, and there's a few caxels shooting back lasers of you. You know they're the rebellion members because they've got the full face covering mask. They've got like the like the big glassy eye covering and the mouthpieces, and they're firing their blaster pistols.
Is there a way to navigate around the cover to try to get a flanking position on them?
That's something you can do. So you're going to try and get to a position where you're flanking them?
No. I am going to tell Mav to get into a position where she is flanking them, and I'll provide cover fire.
Okay. I'm going to start a clock with 4 segments. I'm going to call this the fight back clock.
Yep.
Once this clock is filled, you will have neutralized this threat for now, be that they've retreated or you've basically wiped them out.
Yep.
I'm hearing you want to try and convince Mav to flank them while you cover fire.
Yep. So, Mav, you make your way around. Butters, you go with her, and I will distract them as much as I can with cover fire from here with Viper Squad.
I think this is a dice roll. What type of action do you want to roll for this?
That is a very good question. Which of these is related to, like, gunfire stuff? Is that still scrap?
Well, from what you're telling me, you're trying to convince Mav to get into a flanking position first to help deal this out. This isn't necessarily you firing stuff.
Oh, well then that would be a command. Like, I am telling her go. Telling her and Butters both.
Like, I think you can still increase your clock with these kind of things as well. It's not necessarily I have to shoot these bad guys. So everything you're doing is going to help tick off this clock.
Sorry, no, I thought you were like trying to get me to roll for the covering fire. No, if I'm still trying to convince them to go, then yeah, it's a command roll for that.
It's situational, right? So this part of the scene will be the convincing, this will cover you firing, and then Mav getting around.
Yep.
Now, I will say for this one, you have 3 gambits at your disposal because of the faction you're with. You have all your stress recovered, and you have 1 dice in command. You can push yourself if you like.
Yep. Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm going to push it, and I was like, you're the better shot. You go. You're much better chance at this than I would be, and it's our best shot. Otherwise, we're just going to be stuck here all day.
Butters is going to give you the help action with this one, so take an extra dice on top of that.
Good job, Butters.
You can mark off 2 stress, and you've got 1, 2, 3 dice, 4 if you want to spend a gambit.
No, I think 3 will be enough.
You sure? You seem to roll a lot of 1s.
I've rolled 3 out of 4 1s, right? So the law of averages mean I'm guaranteed 2 6s this roll. That's how math works.
Or to roll more 1s, because you're like equally likely to get any side.
No. I've already rolled my 1s. I'm going to roll only 6s from here on out. Guaranteed. It's how math works. I did this for like 3 months.
Well, prove me wrong then. Take your 3 dice. This is definitely a risky standard position.
All right. Okay. You guys can hear me shaking the dice. And go. Ooh. God damn it.
How many 1s?
Okay. I got a 6. But I did get a 1.
All right. So just a single 6 though?
A single 6. These 1s, I swear.
You've got the expertise of the Viper squad with you here. You're giving covering fire as Mav and Butters make their way. They sneak around the side in behind the barn, and they're able to get to the other side of these rebellion force. I'm going to give you 2 marks off that clock.
Pew, 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 pew. That's my covering fire. Pew.
Pew, pew, pew. And don't forget to mark your items and load as well. So if you've got your blaster pistols that you're using.
Yep, already have. Who do you think you're talking to, douche? Come on, man.
Ah, you're right. You're the one that rolls the ones. Got to keep that in my notes. Yep.
I'm the one that fails everything he attempts.
Says the guy who rolled a 6.
I rolled 1 6 out of 7 dice, with the other 4 being 1s.
No, you've rolled 2 6s now. Your engagement roll was a 6.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
So, Mav and Butters have made their way around the other side. They are dividing these rebellion group into 2. So half are firing one way, half are firing and defending the other way. And they're kind of being pushed out more into the open. So what are we trying to achieve? They're not backing down. You've kind of got the upper hand.
Let me look at what I've got on me.
Remember, don't look at skills, think narrative, what you're trying to do.
Oh no, I'm looking at what items I might have with me that I could try and utilize.
Okay, yep.
At this point, I would be turning towards a Viper Squad, trying to get their attention and indicating that we've got flanking units now. We need to push.
Okay.
We need to put pressure on.
We're going to put the pressure on. So are we thinking like start to advance in on them or heavy fire?
Aggressive heavy fire. I don't think we're in a position where we can move forward safely yet.
I think one of the team members, Tembo, he is the big white Jaguar from the Viper Squad, kind of gives you the nod single back and is helping you fire back. This sounds like another action roll, and I'm thinking this is probably going to be a scrap roll.
Done.
You've got 1 dice in scrap.
Yep.
You have the help action from Viper Squad, as well as Butters and Mav. Do we want to give you a devil's bargain? If you want to take a devil's bargain, I think some of these members some of this resistance members are going to flee and get away, and they're going to flee into this connecting town.
Nope. I'm going to use a gambit instead for an additional die.
Okay, I'll mark off a gambit here. So you've got 3 dice again.
3 dice again, and 2 of them are going to be 6s. I can feel it.
This is, again, a risky standard roll. You're putting pressure on one side with the Viper Squad. Mav and Butters is putting pressure on from the other side. Now, are we shooting to kill or shooting to disarm or just put them out of action?
At this point, is the resistance... does the resistance, has it been painted as like a threat to the safety of the people on the planet?
Not a threat to the people of the planet. It has been pasted as a threat to the best interest of the Concord, of which you are fighting for.
Then yes, shoot the kill.
Okay, give me a roll.
Sorry, I dropped the die.
It's on the floor, it doesn't count.
Yeah, I know. Roll! I'll take it. A 6, just 1.
Just 1 6.
But no ones.
You do know when we get back to playing a normal one with everyone at the table, no one's going to believe you got 6s.
I know. It's like it's observation bias. When people look, it doesn't ever happen.
Ooh, your previous roll was risky too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm risky as fuck.
In your previous roll, you actually gained a gambit.
Hell yeah.
So you're actually back up to 3. You don't get a gambit this one because you consumed a gambit.
Yep.
But you're able to neutralize these people. Viper Squad are trained professionals. Pretty much everything they do is a headshot. You've got a couple sneaky ones in there as well. I think it's mostly Viper Squad that's taking care of the majority of them. You, Mav, and Butters have taken out the others.
I am distraction.
Yes, you are. The last of these resistance fighters goes down. Mav gets you all to huddle in and goes, all right, enough distractions, we're here. Looks around and it is pretty quiet. It's late at night. The neighboring town is under curfew. And you're looking around, yeah, it is dead silent. You can see the settling of like the red earth dust back down after all the conflict and movement and blaster fire. And Mav goes, all right, we've got our mission. We've got 2 radio towers to get fixed. North of the village, south of the village. There shouldn't be much resistance now that we've taken care of this lot. It should be pretty easy. Get in, we fix the towers, get to the rendezvous point, and Viper Squad will fly us out. Myself, Butters, and Voel will take the north tower. Viper Squad, you'll take the south tower and meet us at the rendezvous point. Is everyone clear on their mission?
Acknowledged.
Let's move out. And I guess you all split off. So the Viper Squads head one way, you, Mav, and Butters head in a different direction.
Never split the party.
But that's the fun of it all. The village you are currently walking into is set into the best way I can put it is like in a valley of hills. soft, gentle hills that this valley, that forms a valley, and this township has been built into that valley.
Yep, I'm with you.
There's cobblestone roads. The buildings are shorter than you would see in like our real day life, because this is a Caxel home planet and the average Caxel height's about 3 foot. So for you and Mav, the door frames of these buildings are probably reaching the tips of your ears. For your buddy Butters, his eye line is over the roof of most of these buildings, or at least at like roof line level, because he's about 7 foot tall.
Dang, Butters. They don't make pots big enough for you, do they?
No, not in this town. And a little bit of background story for you here. So Butters isn't actually part of the military. He is a hired-in contractor as a mechanic to help you do the repairs.
Ah, okay, cool. Have we just accepted that Butters is his name now?
Yeah, it's canon now. Forget everything that I had planned. His code name is Butters.
I was trying to be a jerk.
And that's where your jerkiness will get you. It becomes canon.
All right. Onwards, Saute Squad.
You make your way through the village. There's a couple buildings with lights still on, but the streets are eerily quiet and eerily empty. There's no one about, no hustle, no bustle. Think of this as like the style of buildings is kind of like those European building styles made of rock and like thatch roofs.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, everything's squat because everything is short. I think Mav tries to have conversation with you in this like, and she's like, this is probably good for us. They don't rarely send Vipers on these missions. I think if we can pull this off without hassle, we are in good with the Viper squads. Or at least, the next step.
Hey, damn right, like your flank was huge. Basically won us the fight.
Oh, please. And she kind of gives you that knuckle fist to your shoulder. That was all your thought, though. You always seem to know what you're doing. I envy you sometimes.
Being the best is a curse. And I dramatically
Please. As you're walking, you hear a twig snap, and that stops you in your tracks. No one's meant to be out at this hour.
I turn and raise my blaster to the direction of the sound.
Mav follows suit. Butters doesn't because he's the mechanic, but he has a blaster pistol on him anyway. Stepping out from behind a set of bushes is a small Caxel child, and just slowly walks up and goes, "Hello, have you seen my snoofle anywhere?"
You jerk, Xeno. I've seen this in the Hurt Locker.
That's what I'm here for. I have to legally state that I did not rip off any of these content from any popular known movies.
Kid, what are you doing out here? It's curfew. Get back to your home.
But I dropped my snoofles. I need to find him. My elder gave it to me when she came down with angry lungs. Please, sir, you have to help. You're meant to help us, right? And she's giving you those big puppy dog eyes.
Mav, have we got time for this?
She turns to you and goes, "I think we do. Look, hopefully the repairs aren't going to be that much. And come on, Vol, it's just a child. I can't leave a child out here on her alone after curfew."
Well, then, did you want to split up? One of us stay here and the other two go complete the mission?
No, I think we should keep together on this one. And she walks over and kneels down to this child and goes, "So, do you remember where you left your snuffles? Snuffles, is that what it's called?" And she turns and corrects, goes, "No, ma'am, it's my snooples. And I'm not sure, I think I left him over near the park." Mav turns her head back to you. Her ears kind of go droop down a bit. It's kind of on the way, Vol. I think we go past a park to get to the radio tower.
Sorry, just for some background. Mav and I are the same rank in this?
No, she outranks you.
Yep.
So she's your current squad leader.
Well, you're the boss then.
Well, I mean, yes, but this is a squad decision. Your hooks are on the line too. And Butters turns around and says, "Hey, look, I'm just getting paid to repair the tower, so as long as you guys get me there, I'm fine."
I just work here.
Pretty much. He's a contractor. He'll go from this mission, get picked up, and then get dropped off at another mission to go repair something else. And he's getting paid bucks. He's getting paid by the hour for this.
Hazard pay.
Exactly.
You're right, Mav. Let's go. Come on, little one. Show us where your Snoop Dogg is.
It's a snoofle.
That's what I said.
It's a bear of a snoof.
You said Snoople before. Make up your mind, child.
And I think you walk off into the direction of a local park. In that time, She's just giving you a little warm kind of kitty chit chat. And yeah, you get the idea that this is like a teddy bear that her grandparents have given her. That's why she's out past curfew trying to find it, because she didn't want to get in trouble for losing it.
Still, it's very dangerous, little one. There's a reason there's a curfew.
I know. It's when we're not meant to be out when the morning fog comes in. But I promise we'll be quick. It's just over here, and she runs off from you and turns a corner into a very kind of barren-looking kids' playground. Like, it's got like one slide, one set of swings, one of those big circle spinning things, but not a lot else.
When she runs off, I'm like, kid, wait up. And I like chase after her.
And I think the first thing you notice is this playground hasn't been used for a while. There's a very thin layer of that red, earthy dust on everything. And yeah, no one's been playing in the playground for at least a couple weeks, however long it takes for that layer of like dust and dirt to settle.
Hey, kid, when did you say you left your Snuffleupagus here?
I left it here when my grandmother got the angry lungs. We had to run back home, and I dropped him on my way.
Was that today?
No, it was a couple nights ago. I'm pretty sure he's around here. I dropped him near the swings.
Color me suspicious.
I'll colour you suspicious. What are you doing in this situation?
I'm kind of turning to Mav. I'm like, no one's used this playground in a long time.
Yeah, she could have been running past. Look, let's humour the child and search around for a bit, okay?
I'm keeping my eye on anything that might be like cover and or a hiding place.
Not a lot in this park. You see maybe there's like probably get behind the slide at this point, but it's not a huge park. So it's not like you're going to be left in the open.
I'm more looking for like maybe if there are some places for other people to hide.
Noted. Do you want to give me an action roll for that? I think this might be a study roll to kind of study and assess what's happening around and what's here.
Can I interest you in a helm roll instead?
If you can justify to me how a helm roll would work, I will allow it.
Because this is all secretly a simulation and I'm within my own mind here. So the reason that this is a helm roll is because I'm manipulating the headset Neo style in the Matrix.
No, because this Voel is in his current day non-simulation, non-memory point. And plus the Matrix doesn't come out for another 100 years.
Damn it. Well, all right then. Yeah, it'd have to be a study roll.
So, how many dice do you have in study?
0.
Excellent. Do have the help action from Mav here, so you get at least 1 dice.
Alright, let's go.
I'll give you a devil's bargain if you want an extra dice.
Hit me.
I'm going to say it's going to take a bit more time than you're expecting.
Nah, I'd rather fail.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a rendezvous clock with 8 segments. This clock is going to represent you being extracted from this mission. Like you've completed your mission and you've got to the extraction point.
Yep.
All right, so 1 dice. You still have 3 gambits.
Yeah, I'm going to burn a gambit.
Cool. So you're down to 2 gambits, 2 dice, and I'm going to say I'm going to give you controlled because there's not a lot pushing on this at the moment, and standard effect.
Double 6s. Let's go. I got a 3 and a 3. That makes up 6.
All right, so 3's a fail.
You're a fail.
So you either going to withdraw from this situation, so you failed. You can try to press on and seize a riskier opportunity out of this. So you're looking around, you can't identify potential hiding spots. That might be, no, that would bring some cover. What about this? No, that would be too obvious. And you can't find the snoofle anywhere either.
Dang it.
But in this situation, a failure may not be a bad thing. So you could try and change opportunity and track here instead of trying to find the snoofle, maybe return the child home. Snoofleless. She can snoofle another day because it is dark and you do have a time limit.
Mav, I haven't had any luck finding this thing, have you?
Yeah, same. Like, there's not a lot of places in this park a snoofle would be. And she kind of like leans into you and whispers into your ear and goes, "Do you even know what a snoofle looks like?"
No idea what I'm looking for.
Okay, cool.
Do you?
I think it's a former teddy bear, but I'm just not sure.
It's gonna be a Butters, isn't it? It's gonna look exactly like Butters.
You just look over and he's like picking the equivalent of his nose, I guess, just standing there. Do lobsters have noses?
I don't know. We've never looked at their face.
Maybe he's just picking his like gibbly bits on his face or something.
Yeah, he's just like a blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
This would go faster if you helped us, Butters.
I'm here to repair stuff, not find things.
You can repair this girl's evening by finding her snuffleupagus.
He pulls out this like massive wrench and goes, "Well, I can try if you want." And Mav goes, "Look, maybe we don't piss him off. We do need him to fix the radio tower. Let's get this girl home instead. It's definitely past curfew time. She should not be out. If this was anyone else, we would probably put them under arrest.
But she's so adorable.
And let's keep her adorableness for another day."
You're right.
Mav, I think, goes over to the girl, gets down and goes, "Darling, do you know it's curfew time, right? Maybe we can come back tomorrow and help look for snoofles." "Okay, ma'am. Can find him tomorrow, I guess."
Yeah, that was fucking easy.
Mav gives you a side eye. She takes the caxel by one of its four hands. "Come on, sweetie, can you show us where you live? We'll take you home." And you head off together. I'm going to mark off 1 point of the evac because this child is basically just slowing you down.
Ugh. Typical children.
Typical. She leads you down the street. It's not quite in the same direction of the radio tower. You can actually see the top of the radio tower poking out over the top of the other houses. Butters can see it because his eyeline sight is basically above everything anyway. Mav walks her up to the door. Where do you think you would be standing? There's like a small stone fence, a very small yard in the front. It's not a big place. You can see a couple lights on in the house.
I would be letting Mav take point, and I would kind of be sitting back, just trying to keep an eye on as much as I could around us. We've been jumped once. Don't want to get jumped again.
Fair enough. Mav walks the girl up to the front door, and a parent figure opens at the door and embraces the child and kind of pushes the child inside, like you shouldn't be in here kind of thing, yet happy to know that her child's, safe and sound. She turns to Mav and goes, "Look, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. She's just a child. She doesn't know better than to stay out past curfew. We're so sorry." And Mav goes, "Look, under this time, I think it'll be fine. Just please, maybe just educate your children better to be in after curfew. It's concordant regulations. We need to all follow them. We'll turn a blind eye for this one." And this mother figure is completely apologetic to Mav. They close the door. Mav walks back up to the tiny little gate, turns to look through the window, and I think you can see it from where you're standing too. Inside the household, you see these two parents. They're kind of hugging the child. They seem very happy that she's okay and that nothing's bad has happened to the child. As the family retreats further into the house, it looks like they go up a set of stairs, and Mav's like, "I wish I had that with my family. It's jobs like this that's gonna get me where I need to be." And she turns to you and goes, "Look, I think if I can make it to high command, show that I'm making a difference, maybe I can get my father to hug me like that too." And she's kind of tearing up a little as well.
I reach out to put my arm around her and I kind of give her a bit of a cuddle.
She gives you a hug back. As she's hugging you, I think you're a bit more clued in at this point. As you look through the window, you see hung up on a wall is a set of familiar looking masks. You don't think Mav has noticed them. I think Mav pulls away and goes, "Let's finish this. Let's go and get that radio tower fixed up." And she's looking for some kind of confirmation from you.
So I've seen these masks inside of this house, right?
Yep, set of 3 masks. If you want to make some kind of assessment roll, you're more than welcome to.
I am torn because I'm bad at these. I'm not really an assess. I'm more of a do kind of guy.
I know, that's why I've set the situation. I mean, you can do other things if you want. If you want to do an assessy thing and study, you certainly can. If you want to leave the situation, that's not a problem at all. I do tell you have an 8-segment evacuation clock to maintain. You've got 1 segment marked on it. You can talk to Mav, maybe convince her to do something about it.
I say to Mav, give me 1 minute. I just want to make sure that these guys understand the importance of the curfew. I won't be long, I promise.
Okay, we'll
Keep an eye on me from here.
Sure. Okay.
And I go up to the door and I can knock.
You can knock. A small moment passes, and you hear some footsteps come down, and you assume the fatherly figure opens up the door and is like really apologetic, thinking you're still coming to talk about their child.
Do me a favor. Stop. You know who I am. You know who I represent, right?
You are
Not me specifically, but yeah.
concordant military folk.
Yeah. So you know that I know what those masks mean.
We're simple folk.
I don't care. I'm talking over him at this point. I don't care. Get rid of them. Get yourself away from that for your kid's sake, if nothing else.
Ooh, I think this is going to be a dice roll. He seems questioning. He looks at them, looks at you. You want us to get rid of our masks?
Separate yourselves from that. The Concordant is doing good things. They're trying to, at least.
Okay.
For the sake of your kid and for the sake of you guys, just step away from that.
I think I'm going to need a sway roll.
Okay. I'm burning everything I could use for bonus dice then.
I'll tell you what, you can push yourself with stress if you want. I can give you a devil's bargain. I get to mark off an extra point of your evac clock for an extra dice.
So it's 2 stress and the gambit is 2 dice, correct?
Correct?
That would be my total roll.
Yes, because you have 0 in sway. And you unfortunately don't have the assist here because you told Mav and Butters to stay out the front.
I think I'll take the bargain for the extra die.
Okay, so you're not going to push yourself?
No, I'm going to do both. Am I able to do both?
No, so with the push yourself, you can either push yourself or take the devil's bargain.
Oh, then I'll push myself.
I will remind you, if you max out on stress in this mission, you will take an additional trauma as well.
Yes, I remember. I'm keeping an eye on it. Don't worry. Because you're only making me do things I can't do.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Alright, so 2 dice.
So 2 dice. So you're pushing yourself and you're spending a gambit.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this is a controlled standard.
The 6s have forgiven me. Yes. Double 6.
Double 6. Alrighty.
Double 6.
I'm going to give you an option. Do you want him to get rid of them? Or do you want him to give them to you to get rid of them?
No, I leave it up to him to dispose of them. I don't want Mav to know. I don't know what Mav will decide to do here.
Yep.
I feel as though she'll be obliged to take a bit more of a hard line. These guys haven't been aggressive in the way the other guys were, so...
No, they look very family orientated.
So, yeah, I'm just like, just don't do that. That's not for you guys. Just get rid of them.
Cool.
There are better ways to look after your kid.
I like it. Double 6s. This is a critical, so you're going to get greater effect on this. You get an expression you're not expecting. I will say there is a bit of a translation barrier as well, because you're in different homeworlds. He pretty much goes over and grabs the masks instantly. You see him take them out the back to be what you assume is disposing of. And based on those 6s, that's a very strong assumption. It's like, yep, he's getting rid of those masks as I've instructed.
Yeah. With that, I turn and off we go.
Sweet. So yeah, he's doing that. He doesn't seem overly ecstatic about it, but that could also be in a soldier's pushing me and forcing me to do this straight away kind of thing, but it's happening straight away.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
You return to Mav and Butters.
Sorry about that, you guys.
Mav turns to you and goes, "Is everything okay? Is something I'm missing on?"
No, I just wanted to make sure that the point was really driven home. If anyone else had found their kid after curfew, it would have been a very different outcome. Could you imagine if we sent Viper Squad this way?
You've got a good point there. I don't think they would have amused the girl with looking for a snoofle.
I have no idea. They would have shot her.
But what does it even look like? The snoofle aside, you're right. They would have just eliminated her on the spot. Do you think they're all good now? You don't think they'll let her out, or they'll keep better eyes on her?
I think we got our point across.
Good. Well, let's get a move on then. Pretty sure evac's going to be close to dawn, so we don't want to miss that.
Yeah, no, we've already wasted enough time. Do you reckon I should get a snoogle?
What does it even look like?
I don't know.
And I think as you're having this conversation, you're starting to walk towards the radio tower.
Yeah. I don't know, but I kind of want one now. Just cause.
Do you think it's a bear? If it's a bear, do you think it still has like 4 arms like they do?
Well, no, because it'd have more arms, right? Because bear, so it'd be like 6 arms.
Yeah, wait. Hang on, is that xenophobic of us? And and she kind of looks over at Butters, because Butters has basically 4 arms himself. He's got these 2 massive pincer claws, and then these 2 tiny arms in front that he does like all dexterous things with. It's not xenophobic to talk about this, right?
No, God no. It's just a discussion.
Right. Let's get to that tower.
Yeah, let's go.
And you walk off towards the tower. It takes a little bit. I'm going to mark off an extra segment of your evac clock.
I'm just worried I'm going to fail my next roll. I rolled 2 6s. I'm not getting any more today.
You've been rolling really, really good with those 6s, and it's coming in handy. As a GM, I'm happy because you're burning through your resources.
Oh, I know. I'm so scared. I've already burnt through half of them. We're not even there yet.
You get to the radio tower. It is fenced off with a like metal wire fence, which stands out because everything else here is kind of made of stone. So this is a very obvious concordant addition to the village. And you would know that these radio towers are for communicating to and from the concordants, like space satellites and stuff. So not necessarily used by the village people themselves.
Yeah.
Looking up, it's a metal structure, kind of like, think like those like high capacity power grid towers. It's maybe 2 to 3 stories high, which compared to the village, it's really tall. And Butters immediately knows what to do. He makes his way up to the top of the tower where the repairs need to be done.
You got this, Butters?
Just like the 10 other towers I've done this month. Hopefully this one isn't blown to shit like the others. It's been very common for those rebellion forces to destroy these towers or the mechanisms in the towers. You and Mav just keeping guard down the bottom?
Yes. You'd think they'd post more people to defend these things.
Yeah, it seems those forces are pretty spread thin. I hear Viper Squad's been keeping this portion of the planet under the rule of thumb.
Yeah, no wonder they don't like us here.
There's some good resources and stuff the Concordant wants. I hear there's some really rare minerals underneath some of the hills here. It's kind of like a strategic outpost, if anything.
I mean, yeah, it is why we're here, right? It's why we've occupied this planet.
As your commanding officer, and she's kind of puffing up her chest a bit, I have to tell you, we are in a partnership deal with the Caxels joining the collective.
Sorry, you're right. But it's just us here.
Yeah, pretty much. You can actually see the other tower as well. So you're on the north tower. The valley runs north-south. From where you're sitting, you can kind of see this village built up inside the valley. There's this very small creek running down the middle of it, and you can make out the south tower down the other side. It's kind of pretty to look at. Kind of reminds me of home a little.
Kind of does, you're right. How long has it been?
Oh, I mean, I left before you did.
Yeah, kicked up a big fuss about it too.
Hey, I had to fight my way into college for this. Not all of us have the privilege of being the Admiral's son.
Yeah, you're right. You've had it rough. It's been kind of easy for me. Let's be honest.
A little bit. You've met my father, right?
Oh yeah, like
if it was up to him, I would support the Concordant by being the housewife to a military officer. Welcome him home every day.
I remember when you told me that he said that. Oh God.
It's like, Dad, it's 19,340. You can't say that nowadays.
Has he even met you? I feel bad for whoever you take as a husband.
I think I'm going to be married to my job for a while. Let's just say that.
I feel bad for your job. I know you're technically my boss, but don't be. Look, that was funny.
Hey, at some point we're family, right?
And I nudge her in the ribs.
A little bit of time passes, and Butters yells down, all right, this is going to take just a little bit longer. They've really done a doozy on this one. And I think as you're scouting, you notice a little bit of movement coming up the side of the valley towards your location. You think these are potentially rogue rebellious forces?
I nudge Mav, and I gesture in the direction I saw the movement.
I see it too. She pulls out a set of like night vision binoculars, and starts scanning. And she goes, "All right, I think we've got 3 bogeys down there. Do you want to take them out, or shall we give them the squeeze again?" And it looks like they're kind of just like sneaking between buildings at this point.
Do they look like they're heading in our direction?
Yes.
I think height is our advantage. Like this communications tower, is it big enough that we could like get up into it for a vantage point?
Yes, definitely. It is quite a tall space. It overlooks the entire valley.
Then yeah, I say, look, I think we're best off getting up into the tower, and then we have high ground advantage over these guys. We get view of them. It's harder for them to see us.
What level of the tower? 1, 2, or 3?
How much range do we have in our blaster pistols? I know it says accurate at close range. How close range is close range?
Close range is kind of, I would say, maybe the length of half a house.
Okay, yeah.
I would say if you got up to the first floor, I would still allow your blasters to act in a suitable range towards the bottom of the tower.
Also, is a communication tower kind of like one of like the metal frame ones that we have as like
Yes.
as power towers, right? So it's not like it's an internal thing with walls.
No, it's definitely open and exposed, just like those power towers. So like I said, it's kind of like the Eiffel Tower in a way, where it's just like exposed metal.
Yep. Yeah, let's go up to the first. Let's go up to the first floor.
Climb up the metal ladder, and you're keeping a scanning eye out. Butters is on the 3rd, so he's right at the top, and you know up there's not a lot of room to move around, so definitely would not advise going up to the 3rd level of this tower.
Mm-hmm.
And you're keeping an eye out.
Yep. When they get close enough, and I'm gonna run this by Mav. We're like, when they get close enough, we'll yell and let them know, you know, we see them, return to your homes, this doesn't need to escalate. Let's try and give them an out.
She turns to you, yep, that's smart.
Besides, climbing up this tower is exhausting in this gravity, jeez.
Oh, tell me about it, but, you know, they're not going to have a problem.
I know, the jerks. It's worse for us, we got hollow little bones.
I know, but we're kind of the same size. We're only a little bit bigger than them.
Yeah, but they're like jacked.
True, that is true. A small amount of time passes, and they do approach and get closer to a point where they are on the perimeter of the tower, as in like the tower property. Don't think they've noticed you yet.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, you can see that they are definitely rebellious figures. They've got the full face mask. These ones have like white line markings on them, so you kind of think, you know, when people have a mask and they put like a white skull on it, it's kind of decorative.
Yeah, less likely to be convinced to send home. Like, these guys are here to fight. Great.
Yeah.
I still say to them, yeah, I'll still call out when they get within like earshot.
They're in earshot.
We know you're there. Return to your homes. There is no need for this to escalate into violence. Let us do our jobs, and we'll leave you be.
Give me a action roll here. Your call. I think this could be a command. This could be even a sway.
It's definitely a command roll.
I think as a devil's bargain, they're going to open fire on you either way. If you want to take an extra dice from that.
No, I'll take the 1 in 6 at this point.
Kidoki. This is a risky standard.
Mav, help me out.
I don't think Mav is helping you at this point. She's kind of keeping her head down to see what's happening. She's evaluating.
God damn it, Mav. All right. I'm ready to roll.
Give it to me. 1 dice. Risky standard.
1 die. Big money! Big money! I got another one. I got a 6. Oh, the curse of the ones is over. Let's go.
All right, remind me of what you're saying to them again.
Return to your homes. We're just here to repair the tower. There's no need for this to escalate into violence.
They acknowledge that you're shouting from them, and you see one of them give a hand signal to one of the other ones, and they retreat back into the village.
All 3 of them?
All 3 of them. There is a little bit of chatter, but you can't quite make it out because they're somewhat like grunting, whispering to each other. They are definitely taking on your words of wisdom and advice, retreating back into the village.
Hell yeah. Go me.
Go you. Wow, you're just diving through my challenges now.
I know, right? Voel is the greatest. He doesn't need the other 2. What were even their names again? Simon and Garfunkel?
No, those were the guards back at the
Oh yeah, the ones I blew up. That's right.
Yeah, those ones. Well, actually, you didn't blow them up.
I mean, I kind of took the escape craft without them.
I'm going to mark an extra slot off on evac. The rest of this time is quiet and uneventful. Butters eventually climbs down the ladder and goes, I've done the best I could with that up there. Unless you've got anything you want to try, I think that's going to be the best we can get out of it until we get more equipment from mainland. Is there anything else you need me to do here at this point, or shall we make our way to evac?
Mav?
Mav's taking a second to think about it, and that's not just me spending time to take a quick drink of water.
Hydrate or dihydrate?
That's it. She looks at one of her communicator device and goes, okay, I think we're making up for a bit of time here. We can probably start heading towards the evac spot. And she kind of points it out. It's about halfway through between North and South Tower in a, looks like farmyard, similar to where you were dropped off on.
All right then, let's move.
Let's do it.
Is there a signal that we were to give to the other side when we finished our job?
Mav pauses, looks to you and go, like she has that moment of doubt in her mind. And it's like, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was get the towers fixed. We meet up at rendezvous.
That's not very commandery of you, I think.
She gives you the side eye. These are Viper squadrons that we're working with. They don't second guess things. If we're not there, they leave without us. And then we're stuck in cleanup. And I know you've been studying these and you know we don't want to be in the cleanup.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, let's get going.
Let's move.
You make your way down to the village itself.
Make a boy.
How are you trying to get through the village? Are we just casually walking through, or are we being somewhat cautious and stealthy? Or are we trying to do this quickly? Time-wise, you're at 3 of 8 on the evac. So evac's not going to be here for at least another 5 segments of that clock.
I think we'd be taking our time and being careful, but not being overly stealthy about it.
Mm-hmm.
We have the right to be here. We know we've run into resistance up until this point.
The rebellion fighters?
But this is a concordant town. We don't show fear in places that are meant to be ours.
I think that might be a study role. So you're keeping an eye out, but you're not quite doing it stealthily. You're trying to keep awareness of what's around, not necessarily try to be hidden.
I feel like I'm using my commanding presence to keep all enemy resistance fighters away from me.
I don't think that would work in this particular case.
Damn it. What about with our giant lobster?
He's on your side.
He looks like an apex predator compared to these guys.
He does. And if he was being paid to be in a fight,
damn it. Alright, cool. So, study with no dice. How do I do that? I forget how these work.
So, don't forget, you still have gambits. You can still push yourself if needed.
No. Well, hang on. Talk me through how do I do this with no dice.
So, this would be the equivalent of disadvantage in another popular D20 based system.
Oh, yeah.
So, you'll roll 2 dice and take the lower value, and you can't crit on those dice. So if you roll 2 6s, it's not a crit, it's just a 6.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alrighty, I'm going to say you're in control and standard effects. So this is control standard.
I've still got 2 gambits, right?
You actually do, because your previous roll was a risky standard, wasn't it? From the before, so you would have gained a gambit. So yes, you have 2 gambits.
Hell yeah. I'll burn a gambit to make this a fight roll.
Alrighty, so single dice roll.
Yep.
Control standard.
Big money. Damn it. 5.
A 5. Alrighty. So we're going to get a complication here. As you're walking through the town, you're studying buildings, you're looking at potential hiding places. You do know there were those resistance fighters heading back into the town. So you're trying to keep an eye out for those as well as you're like sweeping your vision. And I'm going to say there is a improvised detonator that you guys bump into and it goes off.
Jesus.
But you're able to catch yourself in this one and you're going to take a level 1 harm on this. Just like shrapnel.
Ow.
It wasn't a big enough explosion to do a huge amount of damage. Those bits of shrapnel that fly off hit you and Mav. Butters kind of seems unaffected. It kind of just like bounces off his carapace, but you've definitely sustained a small injury.
Ow! Mav, are you alright?
Oh, I bet it was those 3 bloody resistance members. Do you remember which way they went?
Do I remember which way they went?
Yeah, I think you can point out the rough direction they were.
No, they didn't come this way. They went the other way. How do they know where we're going?
I don't think we're the first fighter squad to come through here. This is a peacekeeping mission, just like every other one that comes through. And you know what? We should probably nip this in the butt before we get to evac. Last thing we want is them messing up our out of here.
Yeah, you're right. But before we do that, I pull us into an alley or some cover or whatever's nearby. And I pull out my med kit and I kind of stitch up as well as I am able. Yeah, as well as I'm able, like the cuts and the whatever that we got from the bomb before we go murder these fools.
Sure, you still have the injury. You won't take the negative effect from that injury for the rest of this mission.
Okay.
I think Mav does the same thing, pulls out a med kit as well.
Yep.
Yeah, you kind of patch yourselves up a little bit and then head towards the direction you saw those rebellion going.
Yep.
It looks like, I want to say like an industrial area, but you're thinking in terms of like smelting shop or like, I don't want to say a windmill. There's no windmill here, but like kind of like that level of industry. Maybe a set of markets as well. And you're scanning through and Mav stops. Gives you a hand signal to say, stop. So you know she's trying to be quiet.
Yep. I nod my head in acknowledgement and I stop.
She points over to like a market building, points to her eyes, and then points to the market to say, let's go over and check that building out.
Thumbs up as yes, and I start moving in the direction that she's indicated.
Again, the building looks very similar to everything else around here. In the front, there's kind of like a little open air stall, and then there's a wall and door behind it. You can get around the side as well through a small alleyway if you wanted to, and there's got these big windows on the front. You can see some form of movement happening inside. It doesn't look like there is a household attached to it. This looks like a standalone market building. The movement inside is in complete darkness. There's no lights going on inside.
I am going to pull out my thermal scanner from my spy gear, filling out my last item, filling out my last load.
That's it.
And I'm going to try and use the thermal scanner to kind of get an indication of how many people are in this area. Being inside of this area is a breach of curfew, right? They need to be in their home. Is that correct?
They need to be indoors.
Indoors. So they're not technically in breach of curfew.
No. From your knowledge and experience, most people wouldn't hang out in a market shop.
Yeah.
If you've got some rowdy kids, they may be taking the time to rob this place. They could be the rebellion people that are in there, or it might actually be just someone that this was the only place they could get to before curfew kicked in.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm using my thermal scanner, and I'm also setting up some of the mini cameras that come with the gear, mostly mostly pointing behind us, so I can get some view of like if they come out the door, which way people go.
Okay, you sense 3 heat signatures coming from inside. You can see Mav next to you. If you look back, you don't quite see Butters. He's more of a colder-blooded creature.
God damn it, Butters.
But he kind of stands out in like a negative impression compared to everything else.
Yeah, he's a cold spot versus a warm.
Yeah, correct.
I indicate 3 with my fingers to Mav.
They look like they're about halfway inside the building, probably in an inner room. They look to be either sitting up against a wall or someone's just standing and pacing. Watching it for a moment, it doesn't look like behavior of someone that is living there. It's more someone's kind of like waiting something out. Like if it was someone that was living there, you would probably expecting them to be possibly lying down or sleeping at this point.
Can I quietly... I'm indicating this to Mav, that I'm going around the building to kind of see if there are any other exits, as quietly as I am able.
Mav gives you like the approval sign for you to move around the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Sneaking around behind the building, there is another door at the back, and it looks like the lock on that door has been broken.
Okay.
You get a buzz over your communicator in a very hushed tone. Vol, this is Mav. Maybe we should leave it. They're inside. They're technically not breaking curfew. Do we want to engage these now? You get the impression she might be second-guessing herself.
In response, I say, backlock is broken, not unlocked. Anyone in here is not meant to be.
Acknowledged. Let's round them up. And you hear a banging coming from the other side, sound of a door slamming open, and then the voice of Mav yelling, "Get down, get on the ground, hands where I can see them," kind of thing.
The moment I hear Mav banging on the far door, I will be like pushing my way in through the back, doing the same thing. Scanning it, checking corners as I go, but it's like on the ground now.
Mav's going to make a command roll for this one, and I think this will be our first group roll.
Ooh.
I think it probably makes sense for you to be doing a command roll as well.
Okay.
So the way this works, Mav is leading the roll.
Mm-hmm.
We will both roll for this one, and out of the two rolls, we'll take the highest result as the result of the roll.
Okay.
If you failed this roll, Mav will take a point of stress.
Okay. Yep.
It would be a straight command roll. If you want to use a gambit, you definitely can. You can't get the assist here because this is a group roll, but I will give you a devil's bargain if you want the extra dice.
Hit me.
I think one of these members is immediately going to start returning fire.
Is that on a fail?
That happens either way.
That happens either way. Okay.
So two of these on a success will give up. One is kind of going to like break for it and return fire at either you or Mav. Or you can push yourself for 2 stress. I hear you like trauma.
I do like trauma. I think I'll take your bargain, sir.
Why, it is a pleasure doing business with you, my good sir. This is I'm going to say risky standard.
Okay, so I'm doing 2 for a command roll.
Cool. Mav is also doing 2 for a command roll.
Big money. No dice.
What did you get?
3 and a 4.
So you got a 4? All right, Mav got a 4 as well. She rolled 2 4s.
Damn it, Mav.
2 of these members, as you bust in this door, yelling to get down, hands where I can see, 2 of these members throw down their arms, spreading themselves out on the floor. This third one that was pacing immediately is now starting shooting and returning fire. You guys duck behind the doors as suppressive fire is just wildly going off in all directions. So that's going to put you into a desperate situation now.
Mm-hmm.
This resistant member is a little unhinged, rapidly firing as much as he can.
Are we confirmed that they're resistance members now?
Yes, definitely. They don't have their masks on, but you can see them on the floor.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, no, I'm going to return fire then. With my 2 pistols, go pew, 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 pew.
Awesome. That sounds like a scrap roll to me.
Yes, it do.
So as this is happening, these blaster pistols are going. There's like, it's hitting the wood frame, it's hitting the wall. There's little splinters of wood flying up. You are in a desperate situation for this one, and I'm going to give you standard effect. What are you trying to achieve out of firing back?
My goal is incapacitate.
Incapacitate?
Like body shot. I'm aiming for critical mass.
It's going to be a scrap roll. And you said you're going to be firing off with 2 pistols?
Yeah, I've got my 2 blasters.
Devil's bargain. I'm going to mark off 2 extra spaces on the evac block for the extra dice. You're currently at 3 of 8.
Yep, I'm cool with that. Give me my die.
Take your die up, mark them on the clock.
Your boy wants a 6.
So you've got 2 dice.
Yep.
You've got a gambit as well if you want it.
No, I want to save that.
And I don't think Mav is in a position to help at the moment. She's not able to communicate back with you what you're doing in this reactionary moment.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yep, that's fine.
Give me a dice roll. Desperate standard.
All right. First one's a 6. Second one is a 2.
6 is still good. Because it's a desperate roll, you also gain a point of experience.
Yes.
So I think that maxes out your prowess.
It does, yeah.
In this moment, you can upgrade one of your prowess dice.
Would it count now because this is a flashback?
It's all part of your life experience.
I guess, like, do I get to choose where it goes?
Yeah, definitely. So you get extra dice in prowess, so you can either go add a dice to helm, scramble, scrap, or skulk.
Ooh. Probably scrap.
Sweet. All right. You can reset your prowess experience tracker back to 0.
Nailed it.
In the moment of a heartbeat, peek around the door, Bang, bang. This guy is neutralized. Drops to the floor, weapons drop firing. Mav then bursts around the corner and is covering the other two. They don't not yelling, but saying to you that they give up, don't shoot, don't shoot.
We weren't going to shoot until your friend shot first. And then I proceed to cuff them, I'm guessing. Like, this is how we deal with cuff and ball gag them.
Taking with you?
Mav, are we bringing them with us, or are we contacting the local authorities?
Well, we are the local authorities at the moment.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, if we don't take them with us, they're just gonna go back to the street.
All right. Guess who's coming on an adventure, you guys? And I nudge the closest one with my foot.
Are you taking their equipment with you, or are you leaving that behind? Noting that your load limit is full.
Hey, Butters.
Yeah.
For an extra hours, because you said they're getting paid by the hour, right?
He is, yeah.
Extra hours worth of pay if you grab their junk for me.
Extra coin? Yeah, I can live with that. And he grabs the masks, the few bits and bobs they have there.
My man.
Are you giving him a credit?
Yeah, that's the promise.
I'll note that down to take that out of your credit pool.
He getting paid, and I lean down to the. How is it pronounced? Is it Coxel?
Caxel?
Caxel.
Yep.
I lean down to the closest one. I'm like, big fella here eats you guys. So, I'll keep him off you, but you got to be good for me.
They look at you. They look at him. You think there's a moment in their mind when they're like, no, that can't be true, but they don't want to push it. So they look like they're compliant.
Good. All right. Let's go.
Gather these two rebels. The third one is taken out incapacitated. He's not going to be a danger to anyone else ever again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you start making your way to the evac point. It's a little bit slower going with these extra two captives, so I'm going to mark off one more slot on the clock.
While we have them and they're ball gagged, I'll go to the one closest to me and say, the bomb that was in the street, was that you guys? Nod for yes, shake for no.
He nods.
That wasn't very nice.
He thinks about it for a second and then nods.
You wouldn't be lying to me, would you? Because Zoidberg here is hungry.
You feel like he wants to say something, but he's ball gagged, so he shakes his head no.
I'm going to take the ball gag off for 1 second. You're going to tell me what you're going to say, and then we're putting it back. And I unclasp the ball gag.
He immediately goes into a ramble of, you concordant scum. You come into our village and take everything, and you think we're going to be playing nice. I'm glad my friend set that for you to step on. Just shows how incompetent the concordant is. And he spits at your feet.
Oh, he spits at my feet? Does he spit, on me?
Nah, just ahead of your feet.
Okay. That's fine then.
You get the impression this isn't his first rodeo,
Uh,
so he knows not to assault you directly.
yeah, okay. I replace the ball gag.
A little bit of time passes. You make it through the valley. Up the other side, it's a little bit slower going because now you're walking against gravity going up a hill. And you make it to the farmyard where the other three members of the Viper Squadron are waiting. It looks like they did their mission, got back plenty of time to spare, and the big one comes over to you and goes, seems we have additional guests for this trip.
Yeah, we made some friends on the way, didn't we, Mav?
Yeah, we caught these rebellion scum out past curfew, let's say.
To be fair, they did bomb us first.
Tembo, the big Yugwa, glances over you, noticing that you've patched yourself up a bit from the shrapnel damage, and goes, very well, send them off to prisoner transport once we get back into the skies. It shouldn't be too much longer before the transport gets here. Good job.
We also left one in the marketplace. Well, what's left of one.
Mav turns and says, yeah, but he's not going to... let's say wake up in the morning, so I don't think he'll be a problem.
I mean, more cleanup than anything else, just so they know where to go.
Tembo looks at you and goes, don't worry, Viper's always clean up. Nods, gets an idea, and returns back to his squad.
Thanks, Tembo, love you, bye.
Mav kind of slaps you a bit and goes, don't say that to them.
Why?
He's buff and scary. Tembo is a towering dude. He is taller than Butters. Not by much, though.
I've never known you to be timid, Mav.
Yeah, but when they're more than double your size, you gotta be careful which fights you pick.
Maybe your dad wants you to be his housewife. What do you reckon?
Voel, stop that. A little bit more time passes. It feels like ages. And then one of the other members comes over to you, an Avali named Kalen, and they're a green-feathered Avali with a bit of blue tips on the end of their feathers, and goes, Alright, transport is here in about T-5. Is there anything else we need to do before we leave?
No, nothing I can think of.
Mav looks, thinks, goes, no, believe both communication tower arrays are intact. We neutralized the resistance fighters that are here. I think we're all good to go. Kaylin nods and then returns back to their little squad. And Mav goes, I don't know, I can't tell. Do you think we got this? It's kind of hard to read them.
We had this the moment we landed.
I wish I had your confidence. I really did.
You don't need the confidence, you got the skill.
Honestly, that was mostly you out there.
You'll make Tenbo a lovely wife one day.
She punches you in the side of the eye. A few more moments pass, and this Viper carrier ship comes down. So it's not the size of the Vipers we've seen in the previous session. It's like those Star Wars Stormtrooper ones where it comes down, it's got the door on the side and people can file in.
Yeah, like the transport vessel versus the combat vessel. Yep.
They take the two detainees, strap them in up one end of the carrier vessel. You guys step on and grab onto like the overhead leather straps to hold on. The door's shut and it begins to lift off. You're looking over this village settled between two hills in a valley. That red, earthy texture just kind of resting on everything. Voel, you look out and you see a little window on the second story of a building. Looking out of that window, there's a small child just kind of looking up in amazement, starry-eyed at what they're seeing. You swear you think they're looking directly at you, but that's impossible with the distance.
I wave anyway.
As the transport hovers to a point where it starts to move forward, Mav goes to you. This doesn't seem right. Isn't there usually more than one ship in a squad? It's more than one ship, right?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm going to go up in front and just double check, because they usually have an escort. I'll be back. And Mav heads up the front.
Oh, no.
In that time, the Uguar comes back down to you, looks out the window, looks back at you, and hands you a radio receiver, places a paw on your shoulder, and you hear a transmission through the radio receiver. Viper Leader, awaiting confirmation. Do we have authorization to engage with Operation Demon's Breath? Over. Tembo, with his arm on your shoulder, looks to you and says, remember, Vipers always clean house. No questions asked. And you feel pressure on your finger so that the radio communication is waiting for a response. I repeat, Viper Leader, awaiting confirmation. Do we have authorization to engage? Over. Do you reply?
You're a monster.
Viper Leader, awaiting confirmation.
Is Voel smart enough to have pieced together what this means? I think he is.
Red dust, gas masks, that saddened looked on that father's face as he was told to get rid of those masks. Yes, I think he would be smart enough. You've been training for this. This mission was your in to being a Viper. Going into this for you and Mav, if you can impress this Viper squadron, you've basically made it. And Mav, if she succeeds in this mission, that would be prompts for her to move up in rank into where she wants to get to. You know that Vipers are the toughest, deadliest force in the fleet. Vipers always clean up, no questions asked. No threads left dangling. And the question is, how badly does Voel want to be a Viper? Because he's good at this job, and he knows it.
Not badly enough to wipe out a whole town. And he releases his finger and returns the radio. Returns the communicator.
Tembo kind of gives you a disappointed shake of the head, takes the radio receiver from you, and responds, authorized to engage Viper Squadron, and walks away. As your transport starts to reach the upper atmosphere, you see the remaining squadron come in. You hear the screaming roar of their engines as they descend upon this village, trailed by a thick, earthy red dust cloud that then blankets the village. You look back out the window. This dust cloud is so thick, you can no longer see that returning smile. Someday in the future, this event will be written in some history books, and maps will list this valley and it be known as the Red Scar, a place blanketed in the remnants of like a chemical warfare. As the horizon turns from sky to stars. What's going through Vol's mind?
He's just kind of shocked. He's kind of sat down, just looking at where that village used to be. He's just numb. He can't articulate what he's feeling because there's 100 things at once.
Look out the portholes on the side. That numbness, that feeling of whole and nothingness returns to your bones. I think you close your eyes and at this point transition back to present day. Open your eyes again. Feel the cold, how stiff your body is, and looking through the space of the escape pod that you're in, looking through the window, there is a face. Can't quite make out whose face that is because your eyes are now adjusting, but they're reaching down to you, reaching down to pull you up out of the escape pod here back in the present day. And that's where we're going to leave this session. Whew, I think I need to sit down after that. That was a heavy finish.
You're a monster. That was horrible.
I am. You're welcome, buddy.
I was so keen for a little fun time game, and then you make me commit a war crime.
Oh no, technically you didn't give the command to do it.
I killed a small family. I made them throw away their gas masks.
Well, this is the trauma episode.
I don't like this game anymore. Give me my ones back.
Oh, don't worry, buddy. It's only episode 3. Wait till you see what we have in stock in the future.
I have never hated the Concordant more.
That's what we want. Use it.
I wasn't prepared. I was like, Voel is super happy, fun time character. I built him to be fun and happy and joyous and a jerk.
And now we know what happens in his background.
No, he's just a walking trauma response.
But that's the fun of the game.
I'm gonna go to bed crying. I hope you realize.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. If I've made everyone cry by the end of this, I've done my job well.
Anyone listening to this podcast, rebel.
Yes. Leave it in the comments. Let me know how much of an asshole I am.
Oh my god.
You deserve some XP for this wonderful little sideshow.
I deserve some therapy.
Just imagine what would happen if you had a second trauma within the trauma flashback.
Oh god, this would just be a forever running loop of flashbacks.
That's the entire show, right?
That's what's left.
We just inception this shit.
It's a game within a game.
For the record, let's talk through what trauma did you pick up for Voel?
We said this, didn't we?
I believe we're going to go paranoid unless you wanted to pick something different.
Yeah, that was it. It was paranoid. It was paranoid. That's right. Sorry, I just couldn't remember exactly what it was because it was like a month and a half ago.
That's good. I'll let you mark that on your character sheet. Also, let's go through your playbook XP. Did you address a tough challenge with speed or flair?
I would say no. Nothing I could think of that would be like classic Voel flair.
Fair enough. That's all right. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I most certainly did. Especially with that final scene.
I think you definitely did. Feel free to mark an XP into one of your 4 experience tracks. I do love how we went into planning this session for maybe this is the thing where Voel got to be a Viper.
Yeah, this is where we decided no, we didn't.
And your last XP question is, did you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas during the session?
No.
Definitely didn't suffer from your vice, as your vice is pleasure.
And the trauma didn't really exist until the end of the session.
Correct. This caused the trauma, but I think I will give you the XP for it anyway. So if we take another XP.
All right, done. 2 points into playbook.
And I think we'll pick this up next session when we go back to the other part of the crew of the Coyfish and see what they've been up to in Voel's absence. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next session. Dark Cosmos is a placeholder NPCs podcast. With Algernon Blue, aka Kentucky, as played by Sam, Ark Ferris, aka Rook, as played by Deshaun, Voel Burung, aka Demon, as played by Lex, and the role of Game Master, as played by Xeno. Music and sound effects are provided by FestlianStudios.com and Zapsplat.com, with additional music by Ordonian's Music from the freemusicarchive.com. If you're enjoying the podcast, please give us a like, share it on your socials, and why not drop a comment to let us know what you're enjoying most. And on behalf of everyone here, you have our sincere gratitude for taking the time to enjoy our podcast.